Rewordify is a free online tool that ESL teachers, content teachers, and indeed students themselves can use to quickly provide vocabulary support. It's great for English learners and other students who need some assistance in accessing difficult texts. I am taking you on just a short tour of some of the features that I find most helpful in my own classroom. There's a lot more here, so feel free to look at it on your own. What I'm going to do is show you how to provide support to students who are reading documents in class. Okay. It says here, enter text, English text or website page to simplify. Now here's a website page. I'm going to the New York Times. I'm going to copy and paste the URL. Right there, I'm going to copy it, go back to Rewordify, and I'm going to paste it. I'm going to rewordify the text. And let's take a little tour of this. Now, it's not perfect because it's automatically done. Sometimes the definitions replace one word that seems equally difficult with another word, but in the main, it's very helpful. So, for example, but the bears that come here are climate, people who've run away from their own countries because of bad treatment, climate refugees. I think that might help somebody access that word. Now, depend on is an example, depend on or rely on. It might be helpful. For hunting seals is moving back or away. Here's one that's very useful because many kids won't know receding, but moving back or moving away is helpful. So client scientists who described a possible future event. Let's look at that. Predicted, very surprising, startling. So this feature replaces the difficult words with easier words. This might be a way to help some people access text. I have to confess that I have never used this. It seems a little bit odd to me. What I tend to use is keeping the original text and then providing supports for that. So let me now show you how that goes. Back to the Rewordify text. Let's say I'm going to use this article on melting glaciers. All I'm going to do is copy the text right here. I'm going to copy the text, and then I'm going to paste the whole text right here in the rewordify.com box, and it's going to rewordify the text. And this has the same thing that we saw with the website. Huge masses of ice, you click on it, and it's glaciers. But here's something nice. Kids can hear it, and they can mark it to learn this word later. So that is a neat feature, and it goes into their account and has some things where it gives it the definition, it shows it in use, it gives them a chance to type it a few times. It's quite good. But as I said before, I'm not sure that I think the best thing is necessarily to replace the difficult vocabulary with the easy vocabulary, because what I want to do is teach kids the harder vocabulary. So I am more inclined to use some tools in the print and learning activities. There are a whole bunch here, and let me show you the two that I think are the most useful. Vocabulary list with definitions. This can be a great thing to use if you just want to hand some support to kids who are reading and reading something that exists in another format. So, for example, many of us have access to online texts of books that we use in class or magazines that kids might be reading. If you have the electronic text, you can cut and paste it into Rewordify, but then kids will use the original, and here's just a glossary that's helpful for them in their reading. It also is a very good way of helping you figure out which are some good words to pre-teach. So that is useful. You can print it, and when you print it, it looks like this. It's pretty basic. Okay, so that's one thing that I like to do. Another thing that I really like to do is text with vocabulary. So I'm going to click text with vocabulary and I'm going to hit print. And it says, so this is a Rewordify.com printable document. It looks plain on the screen, but it prints correctly. The gray areas of this document will not appear on the printout. And then when you print page, you get something that looks like this. And I have found this to be incredibly useful. Now, you can hand this out to all of your students. And when I do that, I say, oh, I'm handing out the article. It has some extra words. Of course, many of you already know the words. Don't worry about that. But those of you who don't know them, here's the definition right there. And I have found that students really like this. It prints out where it's yellow. It prints out with a slight shading so kids can tell the word is there. And then, so for example, researchers right here. And then just on the right, it says researchers, people who work to find information. This has been an enormously useful tool. So I hope that this has encouraged you to perhaps reuse Rewordify. I can't recommend it highly enough. Thanks very much. And again, this is Michelle Austin with the Worcester Public Schools. Take care.